Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how I created these fall decor pieces for this season. I'm going to start off just by showing you how they all turned out and then come back in and share with you the different techniques and styles and inspiration that I got for these looks this year. Hope everybody's doing great and I hope you enjoy the video. Hi guys, so I am going to share with you today all the fun crafts that I made with a lot of supplies that I had already had on hand in my craft bins, specifically my fall craft bins. If I sound a little congested, I apologize. I have been, I've had like a seasonal cold. The weather here is changing. The leaves are starting to change and I always get like upper respiratory congestion when that happens. So if I sound stuffy, I apologize, but let's go on ahead and I'll show you all the neat stuff I made this year. So one of the things I wanted to do was do some canvas fall like little canvas signs that I could, stick up, whether it's in the entryway of our home or on our fireplace mantle. So I have my rice paper and all I did was pick up some canvases that you can pick up at Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And you can usually get them like in a pack. They sell them in a pack. And all I did was paint them. And then I put my rice paper on top after I painted them. And then I went, after it dried, I sealed it and with a clear seal. And then I went back in and kind of blended that rice paper in and distressed my canvas some and just kind of gave it a little bit of a worn look. And this is what I came up with. At first, I thought about getting some of my molding paste and doing some work on the outside around the edges, but I really like how they just turned out like this. Very simple, very easy, and I just kind of went around the edges, I'll show you, and just, aged it a little bit and kind of blended in, and created some shading. I'm somebody that I'm not an artist, so I can't draw this, but I can take a picture and kind of, do some shading with it and create something. Our youngest son, he could paint this, but I can't. I'm not that type of artist, but I do know a little bit about shading, colors, and blending, and this is what I came up with. So I made 2 of those and I'm looking forward to putting those out on display. Then I had little pieces of rice paper and I made these little plaques right here. So they're just wooden plaques and I went on ahead and took little pieces of the rice paper. So I painted the wooden plaque and then I put the rice paper on there. And then again, guys, I went in there with some acrylic paints and just painted around it. Like I said, if you give me an image, I can kind of do something with it. And then I did a little bit of clay work up here. I wanted to kind of play with that. So I made that one. This one I did as well. So again, I went back in with some acrylic paints and painted that one, and it says Hello Fall. This one I love as well. I love the little leaves coming down here. This is all with molding paste. So I just got my stencils out, and rather than using an acrylic paint to do stenciling, I used my molding paste. That is something that I had already had on hand. This one I kept very basic, and I just gave it a gold shimmer. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I did that one. This one says Pumpkin Patch. I love this one. I just distressed this one up. So after I painted this, I went back in and did a little bit of darkening on the bottom, and then I just took a paper towel and really rubbed it and kind of gave this one a little bit of a distressed look. Hopefully the camera is picking these up. And then I did this one with some acrylic paints as well. And then to get that gold shimmer on top, like on this one, I don't know if you can tell, but I gave it more of a deeper brass. I have this beautiful gold paste that I put on it, and yeah, I love those. So I did that. Then I took a peanut container, and I talked about this in another video. So I have a, I save all my jars. I've talked about that with y'all. I save my candle jars from when you're, my candles, and I save pasta glass jars, and any kind of canisters and containers I save because a lot of times I can repurpose them for crafts. So the canister I'm going to show you is actually a Kirkland's peanut canister that I, after we finished the peanuts in it, I cleaned it out, and I'm like, I'm going to repurpose this. So I made this right here. I'm going to be careful so it doesn't get all damaged, but I made this right here. And I distressed my pumpkins. They're a shade of blue, and I liked them blue, but I kind of like my pumpkins to look a little bit weathered. I don't want them to look, I don't know how to put it. I just didn't want that basic color. I wanted a little bit of a weathered, distressed look. So I went in there and I distressed my pumpkins. I don't know if you can tell, but these pumpkins on here were white. It was a napkin. And what I did was I decoupaged this napkin all around, and I went back in with my acrylic paints, and I started to paint the pumpkins blue. I brought out more of this shade. Once I got the napkin on there and sealed it, it kind of looked dull. So I had to go back in with acrylic paints and brighten up a lot of the colors. I don't know if you can see underneath, but I did some clay work right under here. And I sealed that and then painted over it. But this is just a Kirkland's peanut canister that I used. And I put a candle in it as well. And then I distressed that pumpkin there too. And I think this is gonna be cute sitting somewhere out on display. And I really like the candles. I'm doing a lot of candles this year. And I'm really liking that because in the evenings when the sun starts to go down, and with us having the cooler weather, that just having that little candle just gives the house kind of like a really nice ambiance. So I'm really liking the candles. So the next thing I did, and it's probably my favorite of all the projects that I did this year, was my pumpkin topiaries. And these did take me the longest because I had to do it in stages. I had to paint the clay pots, and then I had to put the IOD labels on them. Then I had to seal that, then go back in and paint. So there was a lot of different steps in doing the pumpkin topiaries, but I love the way they came out. And here's one right here. So these are just clay pots. You can get them really inexpensive at hardware stores or even craft stores. I just painted mine white, and then I went back in and used an IOD label, put that on there, sealed it, and then I came back in and just gave the pot some specks to kind of make it look more natural. And the pumpkins I already had on hand in my craft box. The only thing was they were all orange, and I didn't want that, so I spray painted this one white, and I spray painted this one that blue that you saw previously, and then I went back in and weathered them. So they don't have that sharp blue, and they don't have that sharp white. They're more of a weathered look, which I really like. And then all the picks, I either bought more picks or I had them on hand already. And I just went in and layered each level with different picks. I did use a dowel stick. So there is a dowel stick going all the way down to the bottom where there's styrofoam. So the pumpkins would definitely hold in place, but I also secured them with some hot glue. So I did this one and I love it. I think it came out so cute. And that one's gonna be on display, looking forward to it. And then I did this one as well. So there's that one. And I love the way they came out. I also used some moss in there, but that was a little messy, but still, it came out beautiful, and I love them, and I'm looking forward to having those on display for this year. The other crafts that I did, again, it was supplies that I had on hand. One is a pasta jar that I had, and one is a candle jar from Candleberry Company. But again, guys, I just distressed my jar. So this is this design I did. Put a candle, again, it's gonna look beautiful lit up at night. And all I did was do some clay work. So I just got my clay and my redesigned molds for fall leaves that I had. And I just, did some clay work, painted it with some acrylic paints. I really went in with this jar, painted it white, or I should say I did brown first, and then I went in with my white, and then I distressed the jar to kind of give it a vintage look a little bit. The paper here is actually just a trash bag, and I kind of crinkled it and painted it gold, and then decoupaged these cute little cards that I had on hand. And then just for the ribbon, I just put some, and I can't think of the name right now, but I just put a little bit of ribbon going around there. But that's how that one turned out. And I think it looks really beautiful. I like it. I like that aged look, that vintage style look. And then this one, it's so funny because I've had this decal for quite a while. And I was like, eventually someday I'll use that decal. Well, that someday was this time around. So here is this one. This is actually a pasta jar. And I did the same concept, except for this one, I used gold. So I just went all around, and I actually took that gold gel that I had and I just kind of rubbed it on the white. And again, distressed it, gave it a little bit of an aged look. And then this is the decal that I was talking about in burlap. That's what I want to say, some burlap rope. But yeah, I did that one, and I think it came out cute. Looking forward to putting that on display also this year. And then the other one I made was a milk jug. This milk jug I've had for a very long time. I got at Hobby Lobby a couple of years back. And I painted this white, and then I went in and distressed it, and just kind of gave it a little bit of a distressed aged look a little bit. This little image right here is actually on computer paper. I went on the computer, I found an image. I'm not selling this image, so I printed it off and I just decoupaged it on there. I took a lighter, I did this over the sink with the water running, and I kind of just burnt the edges to kind of give it a little bit of a more worn look, and then I decoupaged that on there, and I came up with this little floral arrangement that I'm going to be putting out this year. This little vintage pitcher or coffee canister that I got a couple of weeks ago at an antique store. It was featured in one of my antique vintage shopping hauls, guys. This is not necessarily a DIY, but I did want to show y'all that I took the rice paper that I used on the little plaques and I put it on this tin, and I would be using this each year for the fall. I love it. I did one on the back also, and then I just put some picks in it, and then I put a little candle in there. Again, I love the candlesticks for the ambiance, but then there's the other side of it. So that's what I did with that little coffee pitcher that I picked up a couple of weeks back. The last thing that I wanted to share with y'all was Dan and I refurbished my mother-in-law, his mom's china cabinet hutch. I have already put that video up on my channel. You can feel free to watch it. But at the bottom of it, I have 2 glass shelves, and then the bottom piece, it's not glass. So I always put something on it to protect it. And I wanted to make a table runner. And I went downstairs and kind of rummaged through my fabric closet. I have a closet that's just dedicated to fabrics because I used to have a website called Rachel's Creative Designs where I made mouse ears, and I did that for several years. And I have a lot of fabric. So I found some fall fabric and I made my first table runner. I have a sewing machine. I enjoy sewing. I try to learn different things by watching different DIY projects on YouTube when it comes to sewing. But this I made, and it's my first little table runner that I'm going to be using in the hutch. Now, I did not have enough fabric to do double side, so it's only one side. But I don't know. I was pretty impressed with my stitch on my table runner. And yeah, I never made one before, but I measured out the hutch base and got this to customize to fit in there. And I absolutely love this pattern. So I was glad to make this, and knowing now that I can do it and feel kind of confident about it, I plan on making more table runners, custom ones for our formal dining room table, and then our breakfast nook, and then more for the hutch, and maybe eventually even some placemats. I think that would be fun too, because I do enjoy, sewing and creating different things with my sewing machine. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for y'all this fall to share. And like I said, I think these are my favorite. I love these, and I can't wait to put them on display. So let me know what kind of neat crafts that you are making this year, if you're making any. And let me know what you thought. If you had a favorite, share with me down below what you liked out of, everything I showed y'all. But yeah, feel free to share down below, guys. So till next time, y'all have a magical day and a magical week. And I will see y'all later. Bye, guys. Y'all take care.